So today we'll talk about related rates. When we say related rates, it talks about the rate of change over time. A certain object or a certain event or a certain value changes as time changes also. Look at this, a droplet falls on the pond. That droplet creates a ripple, and that ripple has a radius, of course, by concentric circles in which the center is the point of the droplet. As the time increases, the radius of the ripple also increases. What is interesting in this, if you will know the radius of that circle, you will also know the area of that circle. So it means you can identify the rate of change of the radius. You will also identify the rate of change of the area. And we know that the area is related to the radius. So we call that one related rates. This is about the application of the derivatives, because in derivative there are two in which you can identify the maxima and the minima, and you will also identify the instantaneous rate of change with respect to time. That means we are looking at the time as the element in which, with the change of time, there is also a change of a number or a change of the other quantity. Function f of x. If the first derivative is positive, it means the rate of change is increasing. If the first derivative is negative, then the rate of change is decreasing. And that is related to the slope, of course, that the rate of change. Now, let's have a remark. Let x be a differentiable function which represents a quantity that changes with time t. So then, dx over dt is the rate of change of x with respect to t, or time. Dx over dt is positive if and only if x increases with time, and dx over dt is negative if and only if x decreases with time. So the unit of measurement of dx over dt is the unit of measurement of x over the unit of measurement of t. So the derivative of x in terms of t, it means that your function f of x is defined in terms of the time t, in terms of the other variable. So it's not really that t lang, it could be dx over dr, dx over du, dx over dh, with respect to a certain variable. If the variable is the time, then we have the time t. So a related rates problem concerns the relationship among the rates of change of several variables with respect to time, given that each variable is also dependent on the others, because the area is dependent on the radius of the circle. In particular, if y is dependent on x, if the area is dependent on the radius, then the rate of change of y, or the rate of change of the area, with respect to time t, as time increases as the third variable, is dependent on the rate of change of x with respect to time t also. I'm referring to the ripples that as the time increases or the time passed through, the radius increases, the area is also increasing as the time passed through. That is dy over dt is dependent on dx over dt. I think it's very clear. In solving related rates, there are 8 suggestions, steps to follow in solving problems like this. So if possible, number 1, you have to provide an illustration for the problem that is valid for any time t. Identify those quantities that change with respect to time and represent them with variables. We have to avoid assigning variables to quantities which are constant, that is, which do not change with respect to time. Label them right away with the values provided in the problem. What I mean is, kung makita mo na ito ay may value, automatic, ilalagay mo siya ang label. Write down any numerical facts about the variables. Interpret its rate of change as the derivative of the variable with respect to time. Remember that if a quantity decreases over time, the rate of change is negative. The number 4, you have to identify which rate of change is being asked and under what particular conditions this rate is being computed. So, basahin mo na, i-draw, i-label, then kung makita mo ang naga-change, pag these changes, malalaman mo naman yun, mga symbols, mga words that refers to change. Example, meters per second. Yan, there is a change. Centimeter per second, there is a change. And then we have to write an equation showing the relationship of all the variables by an equation that is valid for any time t. We have to differentiate. You're going to find the derivative implicitly with respect to t. So, ito ang kaibahan ng maxima sa minima. Then we have to substitute into the equation obtained in the implicit all values that are valid at the particular time of interest. Sometimes, some quantities still need to be solved by substituting the particular condition written in the number 4, yung kanina, that is, you are going to find the rate of change, ano kaya, to the equation 6. So that means, identified natin na rate of change ay gagamitin natin siya doon pang substitute sa na-differentiate natin. Then, we will solve for what is being asked in the problem. For the last, we have to write a conclusion that answers the question of the problem. Do not forget to include the correct units of measurement. Example number 1. A water droplet falls onto a spill pond and creates concentric circular ripples that propagate away from the center. Assuming that the area of a ripple is increasing at the rate of 2 pi square centimeter per second, so ito na yung ating rate of change. So, here is our rate of change with the area itself. So, pwede natin sabihin that this is the area, the derivative of the area in terms of time. So, we call that one dA over dt is equal to 2 pi square centimeter per second. Find the rate at which the radius is increasing. So, ang hinahanap natin dito is yung dr over dt. Yes. Find the rate at which the radius is increasing, dapat positive, at the instant when the radius is 10 centimeter. Okay. So, ang question ngayon is, ano ba ang nangyayari? Alam natin kanina, pinakita ko sa inyo ang water droplets. Of course, when we have the area, we know that the area is equal to pi r squared. Of course, we have pi r squared. And we know that this one is the area of a circle. Actually, may makita ka ng r. But the problem is, ang hinahanap mo is yung dr over dt. This is the question. So, wag mo munang i-substitute itong r. It's because this r na 10 cm, that is referring to ano yung value ng rate ng radius sa pag-change ng radius if ang r is 10 na. Okay. Kasi wala tayong time dito. You're given a function here, the area in terms of r, which is pwede nating makuha ang kanyang derivative. That is derivative in terms of the area, of course, in terms of t, of course. And then, in terms of r, you have your 2 pi r dr over dt. Bakit? Kasi, we are having this derivative in terms of r. So, we have 2 pi r dr over dt. So, the illustration steps, we have here the radius. We have the r here. We have the area. The dA over dt equals 2 pi. And we are going to find the dr over dt with the r of 10. And let r be the radius and a be the area of the circular ripple at time t. So, we know that this one, okay na yan. And we have here the dA over dt equals 2 pi r dr over dt. Tama tayo kanina. And we have dA over dt. So, by substitution, alam na natin yan that this is 2 pi. So, by substitution, this is equal to 2 pi. And ang r natin is 10. Then, you will get the dr over dt. So 2 pi is equals to pi times 2 times 10, which is equivalent to 20 pi, and that is times dr over dt. So dividing by 20 pi, you've got 1 over 10. That the dr over dt, it means that the radius of a circular ripple is increasing at the rate of 1 over 10 centimeter per second. So nag-i-increase ang kanyang radius ng 1 over 10 centimeter per second. That is the meaning of this. Be mindful that all quantities here depend on t, so we should apply chain rule. Always apply chain rule. Now, let's have example 2. A ladder 10 meters long is leaning against a wall. So, if the bottom of the ladder, ang pag-push sa baba ay 2 meters. So that means, kung ito ang h, it means ang h, dh natin over dt, very clear na ang ating dx over dt ay negative 2. So that is the given. And how fast is the top? So if this one is y, so x man ito na, pwede nating palitan ng dx. Ito naman ay dy over dt. Yun yung sa taas. Ang question is, gaano ka bilis? So, ang dy over dt yung hanapin natin. How fast is the top of the ladder moving when the bottom is 6 meters from the wall? So, that means when x is equals to 6, gaano na siya ka bilis? So, let x be the distance between the bottom of the ladder and the wall. Let y be the distance between the top of the ladder and the ground. Note that the length of the ladder is not represented by a variable as it is constant. So, we have here a right triangle na ma-perform. Of course, in the real life situation kasi, ang hypotenuse is named as ladder, string, or it could be the string attached. So, ang base natin, it could be a shadow, or it could be the ground, yung base natin. Yung height natin, it could be the height. Those are the tree, the house. Those are the representation of the y, or the height itself. So, clearly, we can have the Pythagorean Theorem here that x squared plus y squared is equals to 10 squared, of course. Bakit siya negative 2? Because it is decreasing. Decreasing ang kanyang dx. Ang kanyang x, actually. It is decreasing. So, we are given that dx over dt is negative 2. Observe that the rate is negative since the quantity x decreases with time. We also find dy over dt. We want to find dy over dt. Ito ang hinahanap natin. At the instant when x equals 6. And we also have x squared plus y squared equals 10 squared. That's why x squared plus y squared equals 100. So, kaya na ba natin i-differentiate implicitly? Yes, kaya na. Bakit? Kasi meron na tayong x squared, meron na tayong dx, may dy na tayo. Then we have 2x dx dt, and plus 2y dy dt equals 0. Napapansin natin, dati kasi, kapag implicit differentiation, dx, wala na tayong dx doon. Yes. Pero dito, nilalagyan talaga ng dt because all of them are referring to the time. So, 2x dx over dt plus 2y dy over dt equals 0. Then, using that one, we can find the dy over dt. Ito ang hinahanap. So, meron na tayong dx over dt na negative 2. Ang ating, itong 6 that is x kasi sa horizontal yan. Okay. So, ang y ang hinahanap ngayon. Kung x is 6, ano ang y? Of course, you've got y equals square root of 100 minus 36, no? So, you've got y there. 100 yan siya. You've got y there is equivalent to 8. Why? Because 36 plus 64 equals 100. So, it means, makukuha natin ang y na 8. Pwede na natin gagamitan yan. So, from that, we have here that this 2 times x, 2 times 6, times negative 2, 2, negative. Ang ating dx ay negative 2, plus, of course, 2, copy. Ang y natin is 8, kasi na-solve natin. And then, we can solve the dy over dt. So, clearly, may makita tayong value ng dy over dt. So, ita-transfer na natin yun siya sa kabila, lahat. And what happened, you'll get dy over dt equals negative 24. So pag ilipat natin, that becomes positive 24 over 16, and that is divided by 8. You've got 3 halves or 1.5. The vertical is increasing, positive kasi siya, so it is increasing sa top niya at 1.5 meters per second. Okay? So, thus the distance between the top of the ladder and the ground is increasing at the rate of 1.5 meter per second. Equivalently, we can also say that the top of the ladder is moving at the rate of 1.5 meter per second. Another is an automobile traveling at the rate of 20 meters per second is approaching an intersection. When the automobile is 100 meters from the intersection, it means galing dito, papunta dito, that is 100 meters. A truck traveling at the rate of 40 meters per second crosses the intersection. So, dito, papunta na dito. May paalis na galing sa intersection na ang kanyang distance ay from here, papunta dito, we don't know. Yeah, it is moving at 40 meters per second, crossing the intersection. The automobile and the truck are on perpendicular roads. How fast is the distance between the truck and the automobile changing 2 seconds after the truck leaves the intersection? So, this is the truck leaves the intersection. Ayan siya. Ito yung ating hinahanap, yung z, yung distance from these two, yung automobile after t equals 2 seconds. Okay. Now, 2 seconds ito yan. Now, the question is, galing dito is equal to 100. No, 100 siya. Pero sabi niya dito, ano daw ang distance, gaano daw kabilis ang distance, magbabago ang distance from these two objects after 2 seconds. So, kung after 2 seconds, kung 100 ito siya, and the speed is 20 meters per second, so sa 2 segundo, nakakaabot na ito dito ng 40. No, 40. So, naubos na niya ang 40. So, it means, ang naiiwan na lang ay 60. Kasi 100 man lahat. So, 60 ang ika-cover pa ng ating automobile. Yes. Ito namang 40 meters per second itong truck kasi paalis na dito. After 2 seconds from here, it means makakuha na siya ng 80 meters. Why? Because 2 seconds times 40 meters per second times 2 seconds, that is 80 meters. And that means from here up to there is 60 kasi perpendicular yan. Okay. 60 squared plus 80 squared is 10,000. Square root of that is 100. So, it means ang distance from this two and this one ay 100. Okay? So, since this is a right triangle, then we can say that this is x squared plus y squared equals z squared. Now, the question, ano kaya itong 20 meters per second? Remember, it is approaching to the intersection and the distance is decreasing. Therefore, the rate of this is decreasing. That's why we say that the dx over dt, yan, is equals to negative 20. Bakit? Kasi pababa siya negative. Negative 20 meters per second. Ito namang 40 dito, ito yung ating dy over dt. Bakit? Kasi siya ay paalis doon sa ating Okay. And this one is positive. Bakit siya positive? Kasi paalis. That means, kung paalis ka na galing sa intersection as the point of reference, it means lalaki yung distance mo. Unlike here, paliit ng paliit, kaya negative siya. So, the automobile and truck are perpendicular. So, yun na yun. And we'll say we have x squared plus y squared equals z squared. And you've got this one. Yeah. So, tama tayo that the dx over dt is negative 20, that the dy over dt is 40. After the time t is 2, ano kaya ang value? Alam natin that if you're going to implicitly differentiate this one, you'll get x to x dx dt, to y dy dt, to z dt, y dz dt. So, may makita tayo. Dividing by 2 lahat, you will get x dx dt plus y dy dt plus z dz dt. And you have your x, which is, ano yung x natin doon? Which is 60. Kasi dito na siya After 2 seconds man. Yung x dito, yung y is 80. Yung z is 100. O, ayan. Meron na tayong value. X is 60. Y is 80. And z is 100. Tama ba ako? Yes, tama ako. And the dx over dt is negative 20. And the dy over dt is 40. Now we can solve the dz over dt. We know that the implicit differentiation of that x squared plus y squared equals z squared is x dx dt plus y dy dt equals z dz over dt. And we know that x there is the distance, yung after 2 seconds, which is, since nakuna ng 40, that becomes 60. So it becomes 60. Dx over dt is negative 20. And y is 40 man siya times 2, that is 80. And the z is 100 based on the Pythagorean Theorem or Pythagorean triples. Then you will get that 1,200 negative plus 3,200 is equals to 100. Then that is, we add this one, that is 2,000 divided by 100 both sides. You've got 2,000 divided 100, which is equal to 20. It means that the distance of the automobile and the truck is increasing at the rate of 20 meters per. Okay, example 4. Water is pouring into an inverted cone at a rate of 8 cubic meters per minute. So ito ay 8 cubic meters per minute. Ito ay dV over dt. Laruin natin yan. Bakit dV? Kasi volume po yan. Inverted cone ha. We are having the cone. If the height of the cone is 12, so the h is 12. Okay. Alam naman natin na ang cone ay 1/3 pi r squared h. And the radius is 6 meters. How fast is the level rising? That means, rising siya, it means that is dh over dt. Kasi height ang ating magra-rise. Okay. When the water is 4 meter deep. Ang 4 meter deep, that is our height. When the height is 4. Okay. So, I think, meron na tayong volume, which is pi r squared h. Then, we have the dv over dt, which is 8. We have the height of 12. We have the radius of 6. And we have dh over dt, yung hahanapin natin. At saka yung h natin na 4. Okay? So, this is it. Makikita natin, may makita na naman tayong dalawang right triangle, which is similar. Ayan. So, this is the radius of our water and this is the radius of our cone. Alam natin, ang question dito is how fast is the water rising? Okay. Malaking cone na lalagyan ng water. Ito yung height ng water. And we know that this one is 4. Diba no? The r here is radius ng water. Meron bang radius ang water dito? Wala. Ang sinabi dito, the height of the cone is 12 meters and the radius of the cone of the base is 6 meters. Meaning, this is 6, this is 12. Pero yung r dito is wala. Pero ito ay meron, which is 4. Okay? So, it means makuha natin yung isang variable. How to do that one? We know that the dv over dt is 8. Clear na yan siya. We are going to find the dh over dt and the h is 4. Okay? So, we know that this is pi over 3 pi r squared h. And we also know that r over h is equals to 6 over 12. Why? Because they are corresponding. By AAA similarity theorem, they are proportional. So, 6 over 12 equals r over h. Or r over h equals 6 over 12. Or h over 12 equals r over 6. Ang kailangan mo lang naka-order na kung mauna ka dito sa baba, doon ka sa sunod sa taas. Okay? Kung radius ka rin doon. Kung height ka rin. So, hindi pwedeng i-mix yan. So, r over h equals to 6 over 12. And therefore, we've got r which is h over 2. Bakit? Because here we have dividing by 6. Okay? So, if r is h over 2, that means pi r squared h is papalitan natin ng h over 2. And you will get pi over 12, because this is 2 squared, 4, h squared, that is h times h, that is h cubed. So, that is pi over 12 h cubed. Ito yung ating kukunan. Differentiating dv dt is equals to 3h squared pi over 12 dh dt or dh dt. So, that is dv over dt is equals to 3 over 12 or that is 1/4 pi h squared dh over dt. Ang question natin yung h niya ay 4. So, meron na tayong hinahanap na dh over dt Of course, ito ang hinahanap kung gaano kabilis ang water magra-rise at the height of 4. Okay. And then, the dv over dt is, meron na din tayo na 8 and the pi over 4. So, we have here 8 equals pi over 4, 4 squared. That means this is 16 over 4. That is 4. Dividing by 4 both sides, you've got 2. Dividing by pi, you've got 2 over pi, which is equal to dh over dt. Okay. So, it means the height is rising at the rate of 2 over pi meters per minute. So, yun po yung ating result. So, these are the exercises actually, and these are related to our examples. So, that's all for today, and I hope you learned a lot today. Thank you so much.